I think for most of my life, I've struggled to do anything every single day. Like, I know there's the whole like Seinfeld method of, having streaks motivate you, like keeping a chain of tasks that you complete. And that does nothing for my brain. That helps me 0%. In fact, it almost has a negative impact because I'll miss one day, I won't do it, and then I'll be like, all right, I guess we're done with this. There's a quote in the Tao Te Ching that I'll probably butcher, but it's like, hard trees break and flexible saplings bend, right? And I think routines are a lot like that, where a really good routine can withstand all sorts of different life events and kind of like hold you down regardless of where you are. So I think a routine that can be enacted whether you're at home or away or traveling or on vacation or stressed out or peaceful, like those anchor points and actions and rituals, they can hold you down, but only if you design them really carefully, right? Otherwise, it can have the reverse effect where you can get your routine. If you don't get it, then everything's off kilter. For me, if I have a routine, I want to figure out a way to do it no matter where I am, right? So if I need to make coffee every morning, you bet I'm going to have a way to make coffee or access coffee. Most of the time just walking down to a coffee shop, no matter where I am. But I'm also choosing a hotel near a coffee shop, right? I'm also choosing to have my gear loaded up with a jet boil and an AeroPress and coffee, right? So it takes a little bit of forethought and preparation to do it, but it's worth that effort. And if you do it right, you can have these anchor points that are super simple and accessible. I have been journaling for, a decade plus, right? I used to do a paper journal, but I kept finding like if I didn't have my paper journal, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to journal this morning. Meanwhile, there's a phone in my pocket, right? So I switched over to day one. I have a template for my morning journal. I do gratitude. I set intention for the day. And I do an okay job of doing that, most mornings when I can and when I remember. And I can also do that no matter where I am. I can do that if I wake up late or wake up early or wake up at a friend's house, and it holds me down in that regard. The fact that it's transferable and I can do it wherever I need to be. The other cool thing about routine is that you can kind of stack things that you want to do into it, right? If you get a certain momentum or if you notice certain rhythms that you have in your own processes, you can hack them a little bit and change them in ways that benefit you or ways in which help you reach your goals. I find that in the morning after I drink coffee and watch a YouTube video, I'm like ready to make something. Almost, if I do my morning routine correctly, I end that morning routine ready to create. And when I have client work, that's the point at which I'll execute on my client work. If I have personal projects going on, that's the point at which I should execute on that. But I have noticed if I do my morning routine and then, get stuck on hold on the phone or get stuck in some other task that doesn't take advantage of that energy, then I kind of lose it, right? I got to wait until tomorrow morning to get that back, which is okay. But it means that the routine is about preparing a thing for myself to work on once I get excited, right? Once I get my motivation and energy. And I think it's also finding routines that reflect back the people that you're surrounded by. If people are doing things on a certain day, you can slot in of all right, on this day I cook dinner, right? Or on this day, me and my friend play video games together. And so in order to play video games, I have to get X, Y, and Z done. And through that routine, I get free fuel to get my goals accomplished, right? I have that motivation, right? And that reward at the end of it. I think humans are all about rituals, right? If you look at our history across cultures, across time, we love ritual. You know what I mean? We love routine. We love doing the same thing over and over again. It's kind of our jam. So you can hack into that human biological impulse and use it for good if you want to. There's a lot of things like that, and not just motivation, not just routine. You can keep looking for different places where you can notice patterns and hack them. you have to account for the fact that your energy levels are going to shift. You know what I mean? Like, you don't wake up every day with the same amount of sleep. You don't wake up every day with the same amount of stress. Different days are different. And there's like a stoic hustle culture around, like, even if you don't feel good, go to the gym. And that's cool to some degree, but there's also a, like, listen to your body. Like, if you're not feeling it today, you can do it tomorrow. And making a routine that's flexible enough to lets you listen to your body without it breaking the system, that's really important. Otherwise, you're beholden to the system, right? You don't want to be, like, even if it's your own system. At least for me, I want a system that I can modify and be flexible within, and, like, has affordances for things to change without the whole system breaking. A lot of getting things done is just showing up, you know what I mean? If it's a to-do list, like, most of getting it done is, like, opening it up and getting the workspace ready. So I think it's, like, constantly being in this mechanism of, like, setting yourself up for success, like, knowing what comes next, and then being kind to your future self, and, like, setting your future self up with what that person needs to succeed. I love mise en place, right? Like, you can cut your celery and onions and carrots and put them into bowls, and then when it's time to cook, you just throw it in, right? And your future self benefits from that preparation. It makes it a lot more fun to cook. So I'd suggest, like, a few really good daily anchors for yourself, and I would combine them with things that bring you joy, right? For me, in the morning, it's a cup of coffee. And, you know, while I drink my coffee, I'm also writing in my journal, and that's a thing that I need to do paired with a thing I like to do. And you can find different places to do that. You know, I've lately been pairing my workouts with when the sun goes down. Like, I know that I want to have my workout done before the sun is set completely. And, like, having that trigger helps me remember what my goals are. And I don't always get there, but I know what my routine is meant to be. You also really need to be flexible within the seasons. You know what I mean? Like, seasons of your life and the actual seasons of nature. Your routine in winter is going to be different from your routine in summer. And I know this sounds obvious, but a lot of people build these rigid systems for themselves that are just going to work every day of every week of every season. And I just don't think humans are built like that. You need to make it adapt to your surroundings. You know what I mean? Your system, it's easier for me to see it because I ride the motorcycle, but, like, the weather impacts what I do a lot. Like, I can make plans with a friend, but if it's snowing or raining, most times I'm not going to ride the motorcycle there. You know what I mean? So the system needs to adapt. I think as the world gets scarier and harder, that a lot of it's going to come down to the routines that keep us sane and keep us fit and, like, match ready. And that inner strength is going to be important not only for ourselves, but the people around us. Keeping yourself ready, keeping yourself in a good headspace, and being able to do that in all sorts of different places and situations, that's going to be increasingly important. Like, find those anchor routines and use them to hold yourself down. I'm going to record a whole video about doing routines. I can't even do a routine myself. I'm, like, not very good at keeping up a routine.